So at the Oxfordshire Hospital School, we are absolutely committed to giving pupils the best learning experience possible. And to do this, we like to harness the power of technology in a number of different projects. So for example, we've just deployed 48 Kindles to pupils across the school as part of our reading week, loaded with 150 books and audio books for different ages and stages. And we're aiming to promote a love of reading and the development of reading skills, and through the use of built-in word-wise and vocabulary builder tools, a wider breadth of vocabulary. We're also using virtual reality headsets to take pupils in the Children's Hospital on Google expeditions, incorporating the technology into drama and literacy workshops, so that students can learn about other places and themed in a motivating way. But the main project I want to talk to you about today is about our use of telepresence robots. So we're running a pilot project. We're aiming to enable children to stay connected with their teachers, peers in their home schools and connected with the curriculum while they're unable to attend school in person due to their medical condition and their related treatment. So in terms of explaining how this works, I'm going to take a little break from that and just switch over to this. So what you can't see that just by Steve is our telepresence robot. And I'm just going to connect to it. So we put the robot into school, and then the pupil, I'm just going to mute this. The pupil, oops, excuse me. The pupil at home connects via an iPad. Here I'm just connecting with with my laptop. I'm just going to steer it down. Perhaps we can go and see some of the people at the back of the room. Hi, Gary. Hi, Lorna. I have to say, my driving skills are not anywhere near as good as some of the pupils that have been using this. Okay, you get the idea. Right, let's going to hang up on that. And actually, in terms of understanding how this works in schools, I've got a little short video to show you about our first use, which was at Wood Green School in Witney.
Children who can't attend school because of chronic illnesses can now take part in lessons using a high-tech robot. In what's thought to be a UK first, the Oxfordshire Hospital School has bought 2 remote-controlled robots which can be operated by students to live stream their lessons to their home or hospital bed. Will Davis has been finding out more.
Adam, what number did you choose?
Oh, I chose 521.
First lesson on a Wednesday, maths. Plenty of kids would groan at the thought, but for those with severe illnesses, school can be the normality they need in their lives.
You begin to get a bit bored, really, with playing computer games all day, as hard as as strange as that may seem. Kind of became a little bit socially kind of disconnected from everybody, so it was really nice to be able to go in and see everybody.
13-year-old Adams joined his classmates at Wood Green School from home today. He was diagnosed with bone cancer in December.
It'd be really nice if everybody in my situation could have a robot to go into school for them when they can't go in. And it kind of seems a bit strange how, this is the first time it's really being tested.
The kids like it. They like to see him in the class. The teachers have really enjoyed having him back in the class. So he feels now like he's more part of school life again.
These robots allow their users to see, hear, move around and interact in real time with their classmates and teachers, despite not physically being there. They're thought to be the first in the UK.
Yeah, I'm at home, yeah.
We're teaching Adam in hospital when he's there for his treatment. Also, we're teaching him in the home as part of our outreach service, and this is just a supplementary extra to help maintain that link.
You kind of forget that it is a robot, and you kind of just go, actually, no, it's Adam. We can talk to Adam, he can be in my lesson, and actually that's exactly what we want.
Adam's been trialling the first robot. The second will now be given to a pupil from a local primary school. William Davies, BBC South Today.
So in fact, Adam is now back in school, and this is the robot that he was using. We're about to take it back into the school for another pupil tomorrow. So what does the research say on this? Well, first of all, why are we focusing on children with cancer? So the evidence suggests that they miss school more than pupils with other chronic conditions. I've found that the pupils we work with so far have been very motivated to be back in school and studying. And we've already got a good connection with Cameron's ward at the JR, where those oncology patients are based. In terms of the research on the actual telepresence robot, as you can imagine, this is a very new technology. I think we're the first school in the UK, certainly, to be using this type of robot. It's been around in the US a little bit longer. They've been doing more experiments with video conferencing kind of over at least the last 10 years, and robots sort of for the last 6 years. There have been a few studies undertaken, but it's still quite kind of thin on the ground in terms of research. But initial research does suggest that there is a reduction in social isolation and an increase in educational attainment. So we've done some initial sort of evaluation of our pilot project. We've worked with 2 pupils so far. So there's Adam, who's a 13-year-old boy, and also a girl of 9 that we've been working with. Before the project began, certainly they did both have issues with sort of social interaction, which declined after they were diagnosed. One was certainly able to maintain friendships through online gaming. Another spent an extended period of time in the JR and really found that although friends came to visit to start off with, that soon kind of dropped away and they were becoming more and more isolated. They also found that links with school were kind of problematic. You can see the quote there from one of the mothers of one of the children. And there's certainly a danger of a kind of out of sight, out of mind attitude emerging in school when pupils are absent for a long time. And certainly the robot kind of being there really helps sort of dispel that attitude. In terms of benefits, certainly happiness is something that shouldn't be underestimated. And it was lovely to see in the primary school we used, the teacher built an activity into her lesson, actually playing tag outside with the robot, with the children. And this is the quote that came from the mother just about how happy and just seeing her child laugh and giggle after many months of being in hospital was a real boost. And the second, so that's from Adam. It was obviously quite a cool thing to be represented by a robot in your secondary school, and it was caused quite a stir. Again, one of the children's mothers identified the benefit, just that it was quite a distraction, a prolonged, uncomfortable treatment regime, and actually having something else to think about and being able to connect through to school really kind of helped to take their mind off that treatment. So our research has also suggested that part of the benefit of hospital education in general is this concept of normalcy. So it's a very abnormal existence when you're in this bubble of the hospital and you kind of forget what's going on in the outside world, and any kind of connection to education, and particularly connection back to the home school, is a real benefit to increasing that. Also, the concept of virtual inclusion. We're all used to talking about inclusion when it comes to children with special educational needs. And we have to remember that children with cancer are classed as disabled by the SEN Code of Practice. And we really need to do whatever we can to try and include them in education and in all the other opportunities that school gives them. So you can see some of the other things, as well as just being in lessons. It's the time in tutor period, being in an assembly. Adam took part in an evening lecture and he was able to interact with the explorer that had come in to talk to the students about her experience. We're also hoping to facilitate a museum visit so that people can go along with their other children in their class. So there were some unexpected benefits. I found that in the primary school particularly, some of the pupils, they knew that their classmate had disappeared and they'd heard stories about the illness that she had, and they became quite distressed and were kind of filling the gap in knowledge they had with stories about, you know, whether she was likely to survive or that she may have amputations and so on. And actually the teacher reported that having the pupil present there via the robot really helped to sort of calm the class. And it really improved things once the pupils could see and speak to their classmate. And then it gave a way in for the teacher to open up and start talking about the condition. It really helped with communication, because there was something about the logistics of making the robot project work, which meant that the parent and the school had to have really good communication. And that actually then had knock-on benefits for generally for making sure that they were up to date with work and help the transition process back into school. And then finally, I know schools are under a lot of pressure with attendance. Actually, the DFE confirmed that if pupil is virtually present via the robot, then the school is actually allowed to give them an attendance mark, which is a side benefit. Okay, some clear problems. So sometimes when there were technical issues, obviously that actually made things a bit worse. The people kind of became quite distressed because they were expecting to see their friends, and then somehow the Wi-Fi went down, it didn't work, and they got a bit upset. So getting that right is really crucial. There were some problems with actually more of the social interaction with other pupils, particularly at lunchtime, when it can be a bit noisy. There's a slight time lag, and that really was reported as being a bit of a problem. And obviously the Dalek problem of invading when there are stairs, that's an issue. So we developed a system with a robot buddy so that they could, you know, accompany the robot, open doors and help it over the stairs and so on. Okay. So just internationally, so though we appear to be the first school to be using it, I mean, very recently, this is just in July this year, and similarly just a few months ago. So in France, they've just invested in one region of France, 57 of these robots. In Australia, they've just got funding for 75 in the Canberra area. So certainly, we're planning to purchase at least one more robot, and we're looking for funding. We're looking for the DFE or corporate donors. So if you know anyone with a large pot of cash that wants to do good, then please put them in touch. There's certainly lots of scope for more to be used in Oxfordshire. And I think finally, we may see more of this type of robot. So this is a smaller static robot that certainly was part of a bid to the DFE for an innovation grant, and a number of schools, I know hospital schools in Leicester and Northampton are trialling the use of those. And actually, something I found when I was looking at this last robot, which is just in the concept stage at the moment, and there's a group working with volunteers in sort of Hackspace to 3D print these robots that actually could, you know, the issues of opening doors and so on, could actually be solved with this kind of robot, where the people actually wears a VR headset and can experience exactly what the robot can see and feel and everything. Okay, more info on our website, and there's things like if you've got questions about the cost of them and advice on how to set it up, then you can find all that there. Thank you very much.